What's up, guys? What's up? My name is Rachel Blatt. I'm the CEO of Royalty Logistics, and it's cold here in Michigan. I'm coming to you live today to discuss all the fraud that's been happening in the auto transport industry and what to do about it. Now, who is this for? This is for anybody that has to ship a vehicle or ships vehicles or is a broker or an insurance agent. This is for everybody. Today, I'm going to be sharing some tips on what we've done when we've experienced fraud. Um, and just hopefully we can start the new year off with really doing great business. So, welcome everybody. Happy New Year. Once again, my name is Rachel Blatt, the CEO of Royalty Logistics. We've been in business for almost 6 years now and shipped cars for all types of customers. Um, so, just to tell you a little bit about my background, I've worked for the largest auto hauling trucking company in the country. I've worked for a very successful freight brokerage, and I worked for one of the largest wholesalers in the country before I started my own business. I was the top salesperson at every single company that I've worked for. And eventually decided to go out on my own and start my own company. So, a lot of people out there, whether you're a dealership who wants to ship your own cars, whether you are a broker, whether you are a trucking company or a carrier yourself, our entire industry is affected by fraud. Okay. And it is getting really, really, really scary out there. And in fact, I have a number of people who I know are going out of the business completely because they don't want to deal with it. And I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but we are going to see a mass exodus of players in our industry due to how this fraud can be crippling to your business. If you're on any of the forums, you are listening to people talk about cars getting stolen, double brokering. The theft is just astronomical. So today I'm going to be sharing with you some tips for every type of person and some of the things that I think will help avoid the fraud, maybe where it comes from. Just according to the sources on the internet, they're estimating fraud to be up in our business like 200 million, which is double from what it was prior. We can attribute this to the rising interest rates, the astronomical insurance rates. I don't know about you, but my insurance quadrupled this past year, and my insurance is secondary. All right. And so there's a lot of high costs that are associated with, shipping vehicles today. And it's just uh, beginning to become quite the pain in the earth, if you know what I'm saying. So I want to hear from you. If you are listening to me today and you have want to comment about fraud in the industry, we want to hear from you. We want to discuss it. So feel free to comment. And then also, too, I'm testing my good old fashioned audio too for those. We got all new internet today, so I'm excited to be sharing that with you as well. All right. So the cost of fraud this year, they're predicting is going to go to 200 million. Hopefully we can avoid some of this. And let's talk about what it means for a broker. Okay. So, and for example, when I've had somebody try to, a legitimate carrier contact me to accept a load, okay, then they go raise the price, sell it out to another carrier, okay, then raise that price with no intention of paying the end carrier, okay. So what happened to me was that we had the end carrier was scared that they were not going to get paid, so they took my cars to an offset lot, right? And did not release the vehicles until the company that actually contracted them paid them, okay? But they weren't the original broker of the deal, I was. So, it put a huge strain on my relationship with my customer. We did not know who actually took our cars, the 2 brokers in between, and it was an absolute nightmare. So, luckily, I was able to contact the end driver, okay, who actually had hauled for us before, and was, like, apologetic because they loved working with our company. We were able to, um, work our way out of that, but it took 2 weeks to get our cars back to our customers. Now, you know that in our business, timing is everything. So, not only was our customer upset because they didn't know where their cars were, what happened, we were on the verge of reporting it stolen, and we were on the verge of reporting it stolen to a company that we actually trusted and did business with by no means of their own. So, this is some of the things that are happening right now. You're also hearing about cars getting stolen. You are also hearing about things like, central dispatch not allowing carriers to post loads on their boards anymore. So these things are really happening in our industry. They're becoming a nuisance. And I want to just talk to you about, how to select really good people and some of the things that we do to, we can't prevent everything, but these are some of our due diligence, our best practices in order to prevent fraud. Because in the end, the carriers lose. Okay. The good guys lose. The good carriers, we're going to force them to go out of business if they don't get paid. All right. The brokers loses the trust with the customer. The customer doesn't get their vehicles and the service that they expected, and it costs a boatload of money for everybody that's an innocent party in this situation. So, for those people out there, okay, who are going through this, all right, it's so important that we all come together as a community to really make sure that we are forcing the bad guys out. Okay. So, if you know any company that has, with their name, I suggest that you put this on this thread right now. If you know a company that has not, has been part of this fraudulent activities, okay, it's important for the good guys to know. All right, we have a list going ourselves of people who we will not do business with anymore. So here's some of the tips and tricks that I think are going to really help you. Let's start off with the carriers, okay? If you are a carrier, all right, so here's what's happening. If the load looks too good to be true, okay, the price is phenomenal. All right. Do your due diligence. Who are you guys doing business with? Okay. Do you know that person? All right. This is one big, happy, dysfunctional family in the world of auto transport. Okay. So, you know, don't play stupid. All right. You guys know who the good guys are. All right. So, one of the things that we do is we qualify the people that we are doing business with. All right. So, we want to look at who we're doing business with, how long they've been in business. This is huge. Right now, one of the ways that we make sure that, we're not doing business with anybody fraudulent is we monitor the time that they've been in business. Now, for example, if you are a new person coming into this business, okay, I apologize to you. All right. You do not have it good right now. All right. So for those people coming in, trying to be a carrier, it is very difficult. So make sure that you have some really good references if you're a carrier. All right. The other way, if it's too good to be true and you are unsure, you have that gut feeling like, I don't know about this, right? There is no problem with you calling up the end user, okay, either the pickup or delivery, to find out who actually contracted this deal, okay? So, hey, I just want to make sure I was assigned this transport by Royalty Logistics. And if they say, "Oh, no, we didn't give it to Royalty Logistics," then you know that it's not a good deal. Now, you don't have to do that every single time, but you know when something is a little fishy, okay? If you've been picking up from me for a long time, okay, you know that I have most of my customers are creatures of habit, and they're always going to pick up from here and they're always going to deliver here. We have people on the same rights. We're familiar. We've been doing this a long time. All right. If we get a new customer, you can trust me because I have been in the business for 11 years. All right. 3 different companies, top person at all of them. Hundreds of thousands of vehicles have been under my care over the last 11 years. All right. So you want to find out who you're doing business with. All right. Unfortunately, when it comes to the carriers, and this is no offense, guys, but even if it's a good company at a carrier, all right, you still might end up with a crazy driver. I mean, these guys, I swear, they're working their butts off out there. They're maneuvering through traffic with semi trucks. Okay, we got to give them a break. But even they have their moments. All right. So we want to make sure that even if it's a good company, that the driver is actually good. All right. So that's the company, the carrier's responsibility is to make sure that they hire great drivers and train them well. All right. So you don't risk things like damage claims or anything like that. So I say some of the best carriers out there really take the time to train their guys and get them committed. All right. Let's talk about for those people that are doing it themselves. All right. So if you are a dealership or a broker and you're doing it yourselves, these are some of the actions we take. We try to ask to be the certificate holder on the insurance. Okay. This is, it has, some guys don't want to do it. It's totally fine. We ask them to do it. We do this to make sure that their insurance is legitimate, right? So one way that you can tell if somebody is the real deal or the fake is to call up their insurance company and check. Well, you may say, "Oh, but Rachel, I don't have enough time." Well, fine. All is said and well if everything goes smoothly. But we know that 9 times out of 10, that may not happen. So, really important that if you are a broker or a dealer doing it yourself, that you want to call and verify their insurance. The other thing that you want to verify with the insurance company is the amount of insurance, okay? Do not ship a Bentley, all right, with somebody that has $250,000 worth of cargo insurance, okay? Even if they filled up their truck, that will not cover the cost of the vehicle. All right. So you need to make sure that not only do they have insurance, but they have the right amount of insurance. And I think a lot of times when you're going fast or you're selling cars or you're trying to get to your next customer or you're putting out fires in this business, that you do not do your due diligence and check the amount of insurance. Okay. The other thing that you want to check is the date that the insurance expires. All right. We have systems that notify us. A lot of people doing it themselves, they do not have systems notifying themselves. They could give you the insurance and let it expire 2 days later. All right. This happens all the time. Here's why I say these things. People are photoshopping insurance. They're doing all kinds of fraudulent things when it comes to that. You want to make sure that, you know, you are not in that boat. And yes, it does take a little bit of extra work to do your due diligence, but in the long run, it will make you stronger. And should, God forbid, anything happen, that you know that your cost is covered. This also goes with the people that you are working with. Okay. I have insurance. We have $1 million coverage. This is secondary. So, not if my carrier's insurance doesn't kick in, okay, my insurance then takes over. All right. This is why some people, don't realize the importance of working with a broker. Okay. So, if you didn't do your due diligence with the insurance, okay, then guess whose insurance it falls back on? The dealerships. And then it forces all of your insurance to go up. So this is why a lot of people don't really recognize the fact that, that brokers have a place in this business too. All right. When it comes to, some other due diligences, like let's go back to talking about qualifying a person that you're working with. Okay. How long have they been in business? This is huge for us. What is their reputation? All right. Do they do what they say they're going to do? Are they referred by somebody else? All right. These are really important things. Can you check their references? Can you call their insurance company? Okay. These are all things that you want to do to make sure that you know exactly who you're working with. All right. And we tout this all the time. All right. Our company uses multiple systems to track your vehicles. Okay. A lot of people that are trying to do it themselves use Central Dispatch. Probably the worst tracking system I've ever seen because it's a manual process. All right. A lot of more sophisticated systems out there have in-house electronic BOLs, manual delivery, real-time data. So you want to make sure that if you are doing it yourself, to understand that the liability does fall on your business. Now, for the brokers out there, if you got to take a look at your tracking systems. All right. Is it efficient for you? Are you still having to do a manual process? All right. Are you still having to call the driver? Did you pick up today? Okay. These are why it's really important to have a really great tracking system in place, because if you don't, then it creates more work for you. If you have to do all this extra work, you don't have time to do your due diligence up front. All right. The other thing is the company's reputation. Okay. Who the hell are you doing business with? Do they have a website? Do they have a reputation? Do they have a presence? Okay. Some of the biggest companies I know are not the best shippers in the world. Okay. I'm sorry. I've worked for a couple of them. Big doesn't always mean better. But what I will say is that, there comes a time when you have to continue to work to get better. How long has that person been working with that company? How much experience do they have? Is this some person that just decided to randomly take a class? Okay. If I were you, I would either have been working with that person at a previous company, or they would have to be in business for an X amount of years. You decide what that is. Thanks, Bobby, for listening. I appreciate you. So at the end of the day, know who you're working with. Okay. Do your due diligence. All right. The other thing you want to check is their ratings. Okay. Do they got positive ratings? All right. Anytime that I'm working with a personal customer, which I don't really like to do, we have to educate them. All right. Most of the time I'm like, hey guys, I don't need your business because that's not my core focus of my business. My company focuses on mainly dealing with businesses, but for our customers, we will deliver vehicles to personal residences. When you are putting your customers in the hands of somebody else, you want to make sure that they are doing it the right way. So normally I put those people off and I say, hey, I'll do this for you, but this is, not our game. But if you decide to go in a different direction, let me know who you're working with so you don't get scammed. There's a lot of players out there. There's a lot of scammers out there, and you want to make sure that you're working with somebody who has a great reputation, that's been in the business a long time, and who knows what the hell they're doing and has trained their people right. Now, there's a lot of companies out there. So you may say, oh, it's a great company. Okay. Not all brokers are created equal. Okay. Even if they work at a very reputable company. All right. So sometimes you may want to qualify the person that you are working with. All right. So don't be afraid to ask them how long they've been in the business. Don't be afraid to ask somebody, what they offer. Right. Don't be afraid to really get to know these people. My experience is that in this business is that the relationship between a customer and a carrier or a broker is very much like a marriage. All right. So are you willing to be real with this person? Are you willing to tell them hard news? So all that isn't good. But at the end of the day, we can't prevent all the fraud. Okay. Where it comes down to is how can you be the better business person? And I would say at the end of the day, it's about doing your due diligence. Okay. Making sure you're doing your homework, making sure that you are an ethical example. All right. Because like attracts like. But also remember that opposites attract, and, be vigilant about, preventing fraud in our industry. So if you know anybody on this thread, if you've been scammed by anybody, okay, like really scammed, like when it happened to me, it cost us $7,000. It was like a big chunk of money. It was very devastating. It was painful for our company. All right. This is not a cheap fix, but I think it's up to us as a community to really push these people out and not allow it to happen in our business. Okay. For the good of our industry, for the success of everybody else. We do not want your shady business anywhere near us. So, with some of the things that the customers can be on the lookout for, all right, is also, if there is an insistency. So sometimes what we call a red flag, let's say you're offering quick pay, okay? And all of a sudden, they want their money really, really, really quick. And like, you're like, dude, I'm like, you haven't even sent us the VOL yet, right? There is some red flags that you could be looking for. All right. So, are they really hitting you up for the money? Are they holding your cars hostage? What I mean by that is like they will like take your cars and not deliver them until payment's made. All right. Certain things like that are happening, and we just want to make sure that these things, just are eliminated in our business. So my hope in the new year is that you guys have a very successful year. Should you decide for whatever reason, whether you're a broker or a customer, that you don't want to do this shit anymore, or you would rather do it for somebody else or come to work for our company, we are looking for great brokers who have experience. Definitely love taking care of our people and making sure that we all have like wonderful experiences. And if you are a customer and do not want the liability to fall back on your dealership, should one of your people make a mistake because they were busy trying to service your customers, all right, we would love to work with you. So our website is www.royaltyships.com. You can find me or email me, Rachel at Royalty Ships. And if you can, we're here with you. We want to hear from you. We want to hear your stories, and how you overcome this. Paul has it. Paul has a great story. Thanks, Paul. So picture of this. So Paul had. Let's see what he said. He said he had a transporter and a drop off request extra payment from a customer. I told the customer to take a picture of the truck, the driver, the license plate, and his vehicle, and then I asked with the truck driver from the truck driver's phone. I explained to him that he had 2 minutes to drop the car before the police would show up for grand theft auto. He dropped the car immediately. Thanks, Paul, for that story, because it's really, really important. These are great ways that you can prevent it. Have them, if you suspect any fraud or due diligence, okay, you want to take a picture of the truck and the driver's license plate, okay? The other thing is that, we don't always need to rush to like the police. I feel like that might not be the answer, but I mean, I probably would like to use that as the last resort. But we also have to remember that there's a lot of carriers out there that are not getting paid. Okay. So there's some people out there that haven't been paying their bills. I know that in our business, we have some customers that are struggling. These are tough times right now. So, at the end of the day, if you want your cars there quick, if you want to make sure that, you know, call, call, call the person who set it up. If it was you, it's always important that you make the call, okay? And just know that we'll be answering. So thanks, Paul, for that story. Paul, my good friend, love it. Hope to see you in NADA in Las Vegas. It's going to be great. And, you know, absolutely, I would agree with that, Paul. But, sometimes things happen. I've seen businesses are going to go through a crunch. We are seeing some crazy stuff happen out there. So, for example, the interest rates are astronomical. All right, they're astronomical. So, even the banks who are lending money to the dealers for their floor plan, they're crunching. Okay, we are affected by the economy. That's just how it is. All right, so we've got to people that I've been doing with the business a really long, people that I have never done business with, they're great. I have people that are taking some new people that are taking great care of us, but we also take care of our customers like family. So, if you've worked with me for a long time, I'll give you a break here and there. But also it does put a strain on my business. So the money's got to keep it flowing. So if we want to have a great business, we want to have astronomical growth in 2024, we've got to make sure that we are kicking out the bad guys and giving love to the good guys. Okay. So, and this goes for the carriers too. If this is not a good, if the carriers really are the power, okay, they're the one that, who are actually delivering the goods. Okay. So if you are a carrier out there and that somebody is, pricing something way too low, or, that they have scammed in the past, do not work with them. Do not give them anything that would, keep them in the game. So we really there's a lot of power out there between every player in the game. And let's just make sure that we kick the bad guys out. All right. So we can all grow and prosper in 2024. I will tell you this, there is enough business out there for everybody. And I'd like to pretend that, everybody is, made of of really good ethics, okay, but they're not. So, make sure that you're doing business with great people. Make sure you've been doing business with somebody that really knows what they're doing. All right. This is not an average Joe's game. All right. And if you're really good, you've been in the game a long time. So thank you, Paul, thank you, Bobby, for chiming in. Thank you, everybody, for listening today. And like I said, if you'd like to work with Royalty Logistics, you can email me at rachel@royaltyships.com. You can find us on the web. And we look forward to talking more about the business in 2024. So thank you for your time and appreciate your eyes and ears. Thank you, guys. Oh, please share. If you found this valuable, please share it out. Thank you and have a wonderful day.